All right, so I just got back from watching Sinners, the latest film from director Ryan Coogler, who has famously directed Creed, the first Creed, and then the two Black Panther films. He's a very, very talented director, and as displayed by this movie. So, in the trailers, the movie kind of explains the story this way, and I'm gonna do that because I don't want to give away too much of this movie if you decide to watch it, because um, I feel like the trailers give away too much, but we'll get to that. So these two twin brothers decide to they make a lot of they're from Mississippi in the 19 this movie takes place in the 1930s, and they've gone off and fought in World War I, and they've got involved in gang stuff and mob stuff in Chicago, and they made a lot of money, and now they're coming back to their hometown in Mississippi and decide to start a place where people can come and after a hard day of work and just relax and enjoy themselves with some music and drinks and all that good stuff. And if you don't want to know anything else after that, just stop watching now. Just know that sinister things are afoot, and that's it. But from this point on, the main hook of the movie, and I think the movie is better if you don't know this, but vampires show up. Now, I love vampires. I've read Dracula. I haven't read all vampire stuff, but if vampires are done right, I really dig it. It's that same gothic stuff, and I like that this movie is Southern Gothic. I actually read some Southern Gothic short stories in college. So obviously I'm not an expert on the genre, but it is a genre I appreciate, and it's nice to see it represented in a big budget movie like this. So I was quite looking forward to seeing what Ryan Coogler could cook up. And I will say I'm kind of split on this movie, but I want to talk about what I love about this movie first. It is a technical masterpiece. The directing is fantastic. The cinematography is fantastic. The costumes, the acting, the music, the orchestra is fantastic. It's all 10 out of 10, A plus, marvelous work. There's one scene in the film, and if you watch it, you'll know exactly what part I'm talking about, and that involves music that literally gave me goosebumps. And I haven't gotten goosebumps watching a movie in a long time, but I literally made the hairs on my arms stand up. It was so breathtaking and so cool to watch. I really don't want to spoil it in case you do decide to watch the movie, but there are things about this movie that are really, really good. However, I don't love the movie. I think it does the vampire stuff very well. It treats them as traditional vampires with a twist. I don't want to give away what that twist is, but I thought the vampires were really cool and threatening and menacing, and I loved the vampire action, but it doesn't rely entirely on that. Half of the movie is all build up where we learn about the characters and we learn to care for the characters, and they each have their own personal dramas going on, and each character is interesting because they're dealing with very realistic real world type things. And so even the setup, which normally would be boring because you're like, all right, let's get to the vampires already, it is interesting because it's really well written and they're all realistic. And when the movie was over, I guess I just didn't connect personally with how the movie was wrapping up. It could maybe I just didn't agree with certain choices characters made personally. That could be it. I don't know. But I feel like this is just gonna be one of those things where I can appreciate this movie for what it is technically and the things that it does really well, but I'm not gonna love it as much as most people are. Unfortunately, I really wish I was on board with a lot of people and be like, this is fantastic, this is epic. And it is almost for me. It's almost there, but not quite. It's not quite, and it's really hard for me to explain. I think it's character arc stuff that I just don't agree with personally. I don't think certain character choices make certain amount of sense. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again and I'll get it. maybe I'll like it even less. I honestly don't know. All I can explain is how I feel about it right now in this moment. So Sinners, it's a very, very interesting film, very well made, very well put together, and definitely not a bad movie. So I would say if you like vampire stories, you like drama, and you are not afraid of putting those two things together and seeing how that unfolds, especially in 1930s Mississippi, this is you'll probably get a kick out of this movie, and it's worth seeing in theaters. If you don't like anything that's related to horror or vampires, and you're not quite interested in the historical setting or anything like that, this is definitely not a movie for you. But, you know, I feel like you can look at the poster, look at the trailer, and you can quickly figure out if this is the type of movie you like. If you watch the trailer and you're like, that looks like a pretty good movie, you'll probably like it. If you watch the trailer and go, too weird for me, that's not for me, you're probably not gonna like it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Sinners.